so lucky to have found each other.
Luck had nothing to do with it.
To the great horned god.
And our dear mother goddess.
How are you doing? It's nice to speak to you, Angela.
So nice to speak to you, Howard.
That's right. Yeah, Howard. Yeah. So, I mean, this is going to be one of the hardest interviews I prepared just because of the content of the film. I mean, the things that you guys come up with is just fantastic. It's just fantastic. But I mean, first of all, I want to get the funny bit out of the way. I mean, to play something so comical and these phrases that you come up with, like poop in your bum and these kind of things, to play that so deadpan and so straight faced, that can't have been so easy. How many takes did you have to go through to actually film that?
Just one take.
Really? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because I took it very seriously.
Right.
Right. There's anything serious about poop in your bum, but there were takes where we were laughing, actually, when a lot of the times Josh Fadem, they would just say really funny things and we'd start laughing. But the poop part, I took it very seriously.
Yeah. No, but it's just this kind of I mean, obviously the message that you're getting across is very serious, obviously. But there's just certain things, there's certain lines that I could not have said those lines myself without kind of bursting into laughter or seeing someone else's face and just kind of letting rip,
I was always laughing when other people were doing their stuff. I was just constantly laughing, trying not to laugh or ruin takes, because sometimes the rhythm of what they're doing is so funny that you can't help it. But there was a take, I think Matthew's really funny. And I would go, and he's like, no, I was like, I'm sorry. It's too funny. I can't laugh right now. I'm sorry. But everybody was funny. There's like this moment with Josh Fadem, who is there with his partner, and they're talking about the problem in their relationship. And I asked him to draw his previous partner. And so he starts to draw. And he draws a woman. He's supposed to be gay. He draws a woman. And I just died laughing. And I was like, what is he doing? It's just that's part of the story, but it was just so funny.
And at the same time, I know I was reading another interview that Richard did. And I understand that he funded this pretty much entirely, or if not entirely himself now, and you were all handpicked. Were you all on board with this idea? I felt that there was something there that he really had. It wasn't exactly a chip on his shoulder, but he really wanted to get across this message of kind of sardonic criticism of kind of the current state of affairs, the opinionated, judgmental world we live in. Was that something that you were all really on board with? And how open was he to you kind of coming up with your own ideas and kind of own improvisation, if you will?
So basically, he funded the thing by taking out a loan. That's what happened. He took out a loan, which I love, because it's like that story of John Cassavetes, who would take out his mortgage and take the money and put it on a movie back in the 70s and 80s. Yeah. So I love that he had absolute creative freedom. There weren't anybody that was going to deter him from the direction that he wanted to tell the story to go in. With the humor and the writing, it was beautiful. Like, Ricky is such a good writer. He knows exactly what he wants to say, and he knows the tone he's saying it in. And so everything was the message that he had to give in this funny, absurd way was really, really heartwarming, because there are these very sincere moments about a guy asking his girlfriend to get fat because he feels insecure about himself. Like, it's so ridiculous. And she says, well, if you can't accept me for who I am, then I don't know. And she's beautiful, it's just but it was, and the way they were acting, it was really heartwarming and touching. And so the whole thing happened very simply, very easily. He was definitely open to collaboration and ideas. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And what about the kind of the mysticism, this world of witches in the film? I understood that I think it was kind of, he'd received a script and then he took that to some witch friends that he had or something like that. And they kind of appreciated what the script was kind of dealing with. And they really appreciated that it was kind of very realistic and in set in this kind of world of witches. How much did you deep dive into the world of kind of this mysticism and the witches in the film to get into the role?
I think I was like the last person to get cast, possibly. And I got cast 3 or 4 days before. And so I didn't have that much time to go and research witches, but I knew some things about witches. I understand the kind of witches he was writing about. So I followed their lead. But there was actually a guy on set that was an actual witch. And he was like the guy. And then one day he came up to me while we were filming. He's like, you're a real witch, right? You're real. I was like, you really think I am? He said, yeah, I can tell. I can tell you're different from everyone else, that you're a real witch. I was like, oh shit, that's like the greatest compliment. So it's like, thank you. I think I am a witch somewhere in my soul, but I'm not a practicing witch. And then he showed me all of these videos of gatherings, of these little coven gatherings that he goes to. So that was kind of a cool experience with witches, a witch.
And have you met up with these witches since, and kind of wanted to delve in and see why he actually thought that you had kind of this witchiness inside you?
Well, by the time we were done with the movie, the pandemic hit. So no gatherings of sorts for the past two years, or else I would have actually. That would have been interesting to actually take a ride and go and meet witches and see what that.
No, because I mean, for an actual witch to tell you that that they can see something, and you must kind of leave you curious. Kind of, I wonder what it is that you saw there.
I think I'm kind of psychic. That's why I think that there's like a connection to this world that is not seen, that I think witches are very connected to, that I feel connected to. Maybe that's what he's catching on to, or just the work I was doing on the film. I don't know. Innate.
And then also, and I mean, obviously, you said that you feel almost kind of a bit of a witch in a way. Was this? I mean, all of your this coven in the film are all kind of outsiders in a way. I mean, they're not really, but everyone outside kind of sees them as these strange weirdos. No, is that something that you could relate to, maybe from past experiences or something?
Sure. I mean, I could relate to it, not only like almost narratively speaking. I was a bit of a loner in school, in high school. I was mostly alone reading books. I mean, I had some friends, but it was just not really. I didn't really have that many friends. And so for me, that being looked at or seen as a certain thing, but in truth being something else is the reality. And I think that we're all able to judge so quickly about who we think one person is or another person. And I love the message here because it hits on so many different levels. Like Willow, for example, also judges Thorn because she thinks that the only person that she could ever be with was another loner, isolated person that was not really accepted by society. In fact, he was the class president and he was a jock and he was all these things, and yet they did connect. So it's to say, like, we should all accept ourselves for who we are, who we were, and who we are today. No judgments. Like, I feel like that's sort of what the movie is.
Definitely. I feel a lot of people can probably, this film kind of hits home for them as well. Since the film's been at festivals and things like that, has anyone reached out to either to Richard or to you or to any of the cast members and say, wow, I really appreciate this film. I really appreciate it because it made me realize, that I'm not the only person that's alone or that feels like kind of being left out there, no?
Yeah, actually several people have. And a lot of people were like so grateful about the timing of the film coming out because it brought a lot of light to you. There was a lightheartedness, joy, and ease, and a great message. So a lot of people were really moved by it. And I was so happy to learn that, because that's why we make movies. And for people to know that you're not alone, you're not alone. And the stories that we tell maybe might inspire those who judge us to think differently.
And then I'm terrible with goodbyes, but just one last question. Who's your favorite wizard?
Oh my God. Who's your favorite wizard?
I don't know. I asked you first. There was something that I'd never even really thought about it until it came up in the film. I mean, if we talk about modern day world, I mean, I'm a very big fan of magic, and kind of wizards for me are kind of dynamo and these kind of magicians, but I don't know if you consider them as wizards specifically speaking.
I don't know. I don't have a favorite wizard. I'm not one with wizards. But that's such a good question, because you know what I keep thinking about? It's so weird. I think about Mickey Mouse, in Fantasia with the hat.
Right.
He's a wizard, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse.
There we go. That's a perfect way to end it. Yeah, that's a fantastic way to end the interview. So thanks very much. I hope to speak to you again sometime soon about something really soon. Best of luck with the film when it comes out next week. And all the best. Have a nice day.
Yes, you too.
Yep. All the best. Take care then.
Wherever you are, enjoy your day.
Same to you. All right. Cheers then. Bye now.
You're killing the mood.
Thornton Adams? What happened to you?
I went searching for happiness. And I found it.